Grand Rise, Willie Whittle. It shall be dope. This is the pod. Let's get into it. Spring is upon us. That's important. My birthday is coming up. That's important. Aries gang all day. Um, so it's kind of funny for me to think about this concept. So stick with me on this because I'm feeling you know, that kind of spring cleaning mentality where I'm trying to, weed out all of the thises and the that's and dot my I's, cross my T's, the whole nine through a new season. And, preparing myself to be a year wiser, a year wiser, get another gray lightning strike somewhere in the beard or whatever. But it's funny because I heard a story the other day, and we just, obviously, we're getting out of winter time, but I heard this guy say, I don't understand wind chill. I don't understand it. Like, you tell me it's 20 degrees outside, but then you tell me it feels like 10 degrees outside. Wouldn't that just make it 10 degrees? Like, it just makes it 10 degrees? Like, I don't understand that, right? So, I thought that concept, like, and you know me, like, I take a concept. First, I think it's funny from the surface, and then I, like, dig into it a little bit along with the life experiences that I'm going through. So, I thought overall, like, that statement was a little bit profound because we always feel something and we allow people to perceive that we feel something, right? Like, if I'm talking to a certain group of people or my friends or whatever, and, it's cool, it's all right, everything's cool, depending on who I'm talking to or how I feel, but really I'm not, like, 100% okay, or I got some more stuff that I need to get off my chest or talk about. And I really don't give myself the openness, the opportunity to do so. So it's almost like, you know, my internal wind chill, right? Our internal wind chill is first we tell you how we feel, but inside the heart is a little colder. We really got to find a way to, like, make that match. And it's kind of funny because, like, there's not a whole lot of things you can do except for find a person or a group of people or something that you're comfortable with telling these things to, because at the end of the day, you gotta. It's all like practice. It's all practice on our experience. Right? But I bring that up too because on a deeper level this week, I do one-on-ones, family meetings with my kids, especially the olders, because they're stepping into life differently. And a part of me has felt like those meetings aren't falling on proper ears, right? They're not taking the message like I want them to be 100% honest. I remember sitting down, and my sister could attest to this, but I think her the way she took the messages was probably a little different. I remember sitting down with my mom, and this is when we was like 13, 14, 15 years old, something like that. And she would sit us down and try to teach us African history. And I mean, we had this book called the Big African Black Book, and it was big, like, I mean, like, the sucker was probably like 3 feet, and you had to put it on the ottoman, and we had to open it up on the ottoman. That's how big this book was. And we sit there and we had to read from it, learn from it. My mom would teach us stuff that she learned all week long, and we'd sit there for hours. I mean, 2-3 hours on a Sunday, like, and just kind of, she'd be giving us all the information, and I'm sitting there, and I'm a kid, like, I'm dozing off. I'm like, man, this is making me tired, like, and then it turned into when you getting information, you get tired, type of chastising, not really bad, just that's how it was, right? It's funny because I was talking to my kids, one of my sons the other day, and as I was talking to them, you could tell their eyes getting heavy, they start sleeping. And I'm like, man, I know, first of all, I'm a pod show host, so I'm talkative, and I could get The word last week, let me clarify. The word last week was being preachy, right? Like somebody said it and we was in a meeting and somebody said like you're being preachy, and then the person who heard the word preachy was like they kind of clapped back and was like, preachy, what you mean? Like, and then I was told at one point in the pod that I was being preachy, and I got offended. I was like, what you mean preachy? Like, ain't no pastor. Like, just because I do my pod on a Sunday don't make me no pastor or nothing like that. The difference between, I think, what we felt was what people hear, and then what we feel like. So we're passionate about this stuff, right? So I don't feel like it's preachy. I feel like it's passionate, in my opinion. So back to that, like, so I'm thinking I'm giving my son this game, right? And I'm like, hey, yo, here's this, here's that, here's this, and he's taking the information, but he's tired. He's like, it's wearing him out to listen. And I'm like, man, all right, let me switch gears because I see it, and I don't want to be that dude, right? I see it, and I switch gears and I wrap it up, and then I let him go, right? But then I instantly thought, like, that's what my mom used to do to us. Like, I used to tell myself, like, I vow myself on not being the same type of person that my mom was. And then I ended up being the same type of person that my mom was, which is okay. Like, I understand the similarities, and I understand our differences. And I understand that I need to make some changes to make sure that I'm not, like, the bad parts of what I felt my mom portrayed or whatever. So I take all the good things, right? And learn from all the experience. Well, as I'm taking that, I realized like she used to sit us down and she used to teach us the same way. And it wasn't about like what she was teaching. It was about the fact that she was trying to teach. When you look at it from a holistic perspective of an adult and who we were, we had parents who learned what they learned, and whatever they learned, it was important to them. It was important to them. So when they tried to give us as adults in training this game, this what they know, hey, let me tell you how the world navigates from my eyes. And we're like, okay, like we hear you, we trying to do our own thing though, right? It's definitely going to be something that's generational, and it's definitely going to be something that, depending on who you are and how you feel, like as an adult, as a kid, as a in between, everything in between, when you get older, become an elder and all this stuff, like how you give game and how you receive game, it's gonna change as we get older. I'm on both. We're all on both sides of the spectrum. We've all received game that we probably was like, man, I ain't doing nothing with that. And then later on, you can reflect back and say, damn, that was actually helpful if I would have listened. And that's okay. Like sometimes you got to live the experience. You got to get the hard knock, and then you got to be like, all right, I get it. But I realized I was doing that for my family. I'm like, hey, I'm giving you guys all the game that I have. Like whether I'm talking about politics, the way the world is changing, or how my life has changed and how their lives are impacted, and just trying to make sure that they're, making it through. Like everybody's navigating the right way or whatever. So we give what we get. We give what we get. And the thing is, like on the outside looking in, we might look like we got everything under control. We got all of this like mentality or whatever, but inside our wind chill is still low. Like we're trying to give up what we got because we know what the world is like now. I was listening to quick Instagram video. It was a podcast, and this is how I know the algorithm is working, right? I know my phone is cooking right now with the algorithm listening to me, right? But this morning I heard a podcast that this father is doing with his son. The father is, I guess, a football dad. Looked like they had football T-shirts on, and the son had on his football T-shirt, like a sleeveless, like practice shirt or whatever. And he's talking to his son, and he says, I'm trying to teach you because of all the stuff that I didn't have. He was like, no disrespect to my dad, but I had to go learn myself. I had to go out there and teach myself How to be a guard. The Isaiah Thomases, I can't remember who else he said, but he was like, because he was playing like a guard. He was like, I had to teach myself how to play like these people, and I was like, I remember that. Like I remember going outside hooping by myself all the time and imitating Mike, Kevin Garnett, um, Stephon Marbury, the Stephon cross, and I'm a big dude, so the crossover is crazy. But Shaq, like I used to go out there and just get in the post and try to teach myself how to be the dominant big man. Um, and that was it. Like we did that, and it's not a knock on our parents because our parents got up and they went to work. And then I started looking at the dynamic of what he was saying. It's like nobody else was like my dad wasn't there to teach me these things. I taught myself these things on my own. So now when I go to give you talking to a son what I know, you don't want to listen. And he was like, "Why is that?" And he asked us. I want to say he was about 10 or 11. He asked him like, "Why is that?" And the son sat there like, "I don't know." Now it's funny because the face that he made was literally the face of like you just asked me a very weighted question and I'm like 10. Like I don't know. I really don't know. Like probably because we don't want to listen. But we've all been there. So I can't be a hypocrite and say I wasn't that 10 or 11-year-old. I wasn't that 13, 14-year-old that said, man, I really don't want to hear this. I got stuff I could be doing right now, and I don't want to hear it. Now it's just more prevalent because as the world hits me, I'm telling them, like, man, the world's going to hit you. The world's going to hit you. It's going to be serious. Like, we struggled. We went through this. We went through that. If you're not prepared, the world's going to hit you. And they're like, all right, but it's not hitting now, so we got time. Both statements can be viewed as true. The world's definitely going to hit you. That's a fact. We try to teach our kids everything that we learn because that's what we do. My goal, and a lot of the kids in this generation right now, I say kids, but us, right, our generation, our goal is to, a lot of times, not be like our parents because we feel like our parents didn't give us the game or didn't teach us properly or something. We were taught to live life and to understand life. Times are different, so when we feel unprepared and we say our parents didn't teach us this, then that's not fair, right? We are supposed to be adaptable to the times. We really need to look back and see what kind of game your parents actually gave you. And, I'm not saying all parents, but you can pull influence, you can pull perspective from good and bad situations. Take what you've learned, give it as you grow too, but understand, like, I'm still talking to a smaller version of me. Like, I know y'all listening span ain't the best because the mine wasn't either. Like, I wanted to go outside and chill and play and go hang out and stuff. So I get it. Like, I get it. It's a compromise. But a part of me felt like stop giving a message, right? Let me stop doing them like this because it's it's just not cool. Like, I didn't like it. They don't like it. But it turns out, like, don't stop. Don't stop. Like, in my heart, I can't stop. Like, I got to change. I maybe change the presentation, maybe do something lively, maybe find a way to give the message a little quicker or whatever. And I don't have to cater to them or cater to their feelings, but I do need to cater to my, to young me and to me now to understand, like, there's a better way. There's a good way to give this message. There's a pertinent way. And then not only that, but to have the message sink in afterwards, because it's not just say something and then disappear. It's say something and reinforce. It's through the week. It's have the conversations, check on them, see what they're doing, the whole nine. I was listening to Styles P, and it's a song that Styles P Davies mixtape, song called Rare Breed. Rare Breed's a dope song. I mean, it's a dope song. Rare Breed, Davies, and Styles. And in the song he said, "It's our generation's fault. We messed up everything. Because if the youth ain't getting ahead, that means we ain't teach them right about the wealth and the bread. Now, it might sound funny, we could laugh about money, but little homie, that credit ain't second to bread." We ain't teaching, like, we didn't get taught nothing about finances. This is coming from a dude that's, a little older than me. Same era, right? And our parents didn't teach us anything about finance. If your parents did sit you down and teach you about finances, kudos to you, right? And I hope you took that game. My parents didn't sit down and teach me about finances. I had to sit down and learn how to work a budget afterwards, but I was good with numbers. So, and it's kind of funny to work a budget with zero, but that's an easy budget to work. But after a while, like, you teach yourself, like, all right, I can do this, I can work this out. I know how to save, I know how to do this. But imagine, like, giving your kids that game at 11 years old, like, hey, I'm going to teach you about money and finances, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of money so you can work out your financial plan. That's game changing. So we really got to find a way to change the game, how we teach our kids too. I'm not trying to tell people how to raise their kids or nothing like that, by no means. I'm just saying, like, my experiences become generational. When I hear my kids speak out, because I want them to have a voice, when I hear them speak on, yeah, I feel you, but this is how I felt. Okay, cool. I can be parent and I can be absolute, or I could be understanding, be human, and say, all right, I get it from your perspective also. Now we have to come up with a mutual agreement. I'm not doing that every time. Trust, like, I'm not doing that every time. I know soft parent, but I am an understanding parent. I'm a parent that really wants my kid to grow. And as they talk to me, if they tell me something, I want you to be you. I want you to know that it's on you. It's your discipline. It's your drive that's supposed to get you to the next level. I'm not the one driving that bus. You are. So all I'm doing is trying to make sure, like, the oil change, the fluid is filled, like, the spark plugs is aligned, your everything's in line for you to drive that bus. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do something. I gotta continue to do something. I know me, like, I be feeling like I want to give up sometimes, but then I look at my baby's faces and say they didn't let me give up. So overall, like, on the outside, I'm whatever the temp is, but inside it's a little colder. That's why the wind chill thing, and just understanding, like, I'm thawing out. Right, it's coming to spring. I feel it. It's changing the way that we talk to each other, and it's just changing my mood a little bit to be more receptive to what my babies give me versus what I give them. Like, we're both learning from each other. It's a learning experience altogether. So as long as I continue to walk down that learning experience with my babies, and hopefully you take that and you do the same with yours, like, understand that they got to wind chill too. Like, they might be they might be showing you something, but inside they feeling something different. So understand they might have a wind chill factor too that we're not taking into account, because we're parents. We're obligated to just, like, give you what you're supposed to have. We're teachers. But at the end of the day, with love, with care, as long as we do it with that, and we understand that they're walking down a path too, then we can coincide and we can get to a different level. So once again, get to that point. We're all walking down towards our mission of peace. We got to find balance, but peace is the mission. As long as we do it with love in our hearts, it shall be dope. Thank y'all. Have a blessed day.